the founder of the Krishnamacharya Yoga Mandiram and one of the most respected yoga teachers here in India, and therefore by extension across the world. So he will address us on the topic of yoga and sadhana. Thank you.
Thanks to my father's guidance, J. Krishnamurti's help got improved. And all the messages went, oh, he had much better. I'm very happy and more relaxed. So, all the messages went out. And then, Rukmini Devi also had some health issue. In 1968, she asked for my guidance, and she was not able to walk. So I was going to her house, and she was quite an elderly person, and little by little, our health improved. She was able to walk. And then she suddenly got interested in yoga. I want to learn many things. Her friend was very nervous, but she insisted on learning something. So little by little, I had teaching her classes for days, weeks, and all that. And slowly she began to read some books on yoga, asana and pranayama. I taught her some asanas and pranayama. And then she told me, I want to learn shoulder stand. She was not an younger person, but still she was very insistent on learning shoulder stand. And slowly, as she continued her practice, she was able to do shoulder stand. And then she said, I want to do headstand. It's not easy. Because shoulder stand, with some training is possible. So it's impossible for to headstand. Because she was also not an young person anymore. Slightly, she had a slight overweight. But she was very particular to do headstand. And I helped her to do headstand. Each time I helped her to do headstand, and I would hold her and stay for a few breaths. And then, as she was coming down, I helped her and I compensated for many things, including shoulder stand and other things. also, it was a 1 hour session. She was a very busy person, but she was doing some asanas and pranayama. And at the end of the asana and pranayama, she insisted on giving me a cup of tea. She would call somebody and prepare me tea every day. Then she took the decision, we should also introduce yoga to Kalakshetra. So she organized classes for dancers, Janardhan, Krishnaveni, quite a few eminent dancers. So she asked them, you must all do yoga. It's very important issue. So she is the boss. Nobody would question her. So she started doing this practice. My colleague also was helpful, and it was a small auditorium, and we had a group classes, and my colleague also had me to do those group classes. So the class went on and on and on and on. Now, that is how yoga has been incorporated as a yoga program today. So that is the gratitude. Not only she wanted to benefit for something, she wanted others to share the benefit of yoga practice. That's why for almost 25 years, yoga has become an ongoing program for many, many decades. This is how I wanted to honor it. She also wanted to meet my father, and I took her to my father. She was able to climb the stairs, and then my father blessed her, and then she was very impressed with the knowledge of my father. And then she had suddenly a small doubt. Who is the wife of Kuchela? And then she went to my father, and my father clarified on who was the wife of Kuchela. And she was so impressed by it. And then, every year there is Rama Pattabhishek. So she personally went to my father and personally invited my father to attend the Rama Pattabhishek. So my father sat there and attended. That's how she respected my father. So really, thanks to her interest in yoga, yoga is also still going on even today and for future. What I want to interact with you is what's called yoga sadhana. The word yoga means, what is yoga? Patanjali says, yoga chitta vritti nirodha. Yoga means you have to focus the mind, and when you focus the mind on a chosen object, the mind must sustain for a length of time. This is what's called yoga means mind. Mind must be very stable. Once the mind is stable, you should focus on a chosen object. Having focused on the chosen object, you have to sustain the chosen object without any distraction. When you have chosen the focus, you have focused on the object, whatever you like, and when you start looking at that object, the mind begins to flow continuously, almost like a river. And as it flows like a river, all the objects are understood. And as the objects are understood, the first level is, oh, I am looking at this object. I like this object. And as the object becomes intensified, suddenly the consciousness disappears. there is this object. This is an extraordinary object. I is replaced by that. That's what yoga. There's a lot of examples that are presented about where the object is called totally absorption of object is yoga. It is such an absorption of the object, we are not even aware of our own self. We will never say, I am looking at the object. Instead of that, we always say, there is an object. This is what Patanjali so beautifully says. The mind becomes so absorbed in the object, the person is almost unaware of his consciousness. As Patanjali says, we are as if nothing, we are as if we are not aware of ourselves. This is the total absorption of the object. Smriti parishuddhau swarupa shunya iva arthamatra nirbhasa nirvitakka, whatever they say. Swarupa shunyamiva, we are not even aware of ourselves. All awareness is the object. There is the object. Nothing else is there. This is called total perception. That is the definition. That's what Patanjali says, when you are totally focused, the perceiver is totally absorbed in the perception and he is not even aware of self-perception. This is the highest definition of yoga. It is not easy, so easy, it is not easy as it is to be. However, we have to do certain preparation. Mind is ideally to be quiet. It is not impossible. We have many occupations. That's why Patanjali introduces certain guidelines for bringing the mind to attention. That's what's called sadhana, the practice of yoga. The practice of yoga consists of many aspects. There is some obstacles. As they say, in reality, we have certain ignorance. Because of ignorance, we are confused. We are arrogant. We are after some craving objects. We are also afraid of certain things. Also, we have some anger. That's what Patanjali says. Avidya, asmita, raga, dvesha, abhinivesha, klesha. Because our mind is giving us some difficulties. What are the difficulties? Avidya, we have wrong perception. At the same time, we are not even aware of the wrong perception. We think we are correct. We assume that we are right. In reality, we are not right. And we proceed with that action based on, I know what I am doing. And then something happens, they get into some trouble. Oh, I wish I knew what it was. This is what's called avidya. The next one is an asmita. It means there is a wrong comprehension about the quality of mind, and there is state of arrogance. Because of arrogance, what is also called ego, we do not have the humility. We are very arrogant and we don't have humility. With arrogance, there are many examples of arrogance. We get into some trouble and it hurts us. Raga. In life, we are attracted towards objects. Raga is a very powerful object. Whenever we are tempted by many objects for a momentary happiness, Sukha Anushayi Raga, that's what say, I want this, I enjoy this, I would like to have it. And then, even though we don't see the consequences, and then we get into trouble. And also, when bitter experiences happens in life, we get so upset, we get so angry, we get so agitated. This is what's called Dvesha. And because of that, we are unable to see clarity. Last one is, in human life, there is always an element of anxiety. What will? Because in today's context, people are losing job and there is so much anxiety. What will happen to me? Am I going to lose my job? They are always waiting on a Monday. Am I going to get a white paper? So there is a permanent anxiety. This is what's called abhinivesha. And, oh my God, if I lose my job, what will happen to me? There's also an aspect of attachment. We want to live on. This is called abhinivesha. We want to live on. And it is, in reality, it is not possible. So that is why we have many problems. And then, until we have these type of problems, our mind is not ready for meditation. We have to resolve these problems. That's why Patanjali says, I am going to give you certain tools so that you can resolve some of the problems in life. That's what Patanjali says. I want you to explore certain discipline of life, what's called yama. Explore certain disciplines of life. You cannot develop everything, develop certain attitudes. Most important also is have a personal lifestyle. You must develop certain personal lifestyle. This is what's called be clean, develop some cleanliness. Be contented. Do not be disappointed in life. Be contented, develop certain contentment. And also one more thing is, whenever you are in difficulties, follow certain life discipline. Moderate food. If you eat too much food, you will be very heavy. Reflect on the need for moderate food. If you develop moderate food, your body will become lighter. This is what is called different lifestyle. Tapas. It could be the concern of diet. It could be certain responses in life situation. And also what he says is, why don't you do certain reflection in life? At least look at yourself. What is the state of my mind? Do certain self-reflection, what is called svadhyaya. Whatever may help you, do certain reflection. That's why in the ancient time, sometimes people are taught some chanting. When they do certain chanting, the mind gets less disturbed and the mind becomes quieter. This is why whatever type of chanting you do it. And then last one is, do not expect anything to happen in life. Life is a mystery. Whatever you do yourself, do not be open to that attitude. I have done my best, it is up to somebody. Do not do expectation, but at the same time continue to act. Because of certain defects in certain situation, you may not succeed. However, do not give up. That is what is called having done whatever it is. If it does not work, try again. This is what is called, we must pursue our actions. And even if it does not work, we should not get upset. We must continue. It is like a through reflection, you will say, oh, this is what I should not have done. If I had not done it, it would have worked for me. Next time, I will be very careful. These are certain attitudes or suggestions. If at the level it is a regular practice, at the first level, it is an attitude practice. One more thing that is suggested is, if you have an excess of weight, if you have some health problem, it's very important that you do certain asana practice. That's what Patanjali says. If you can do certain asana practice, slowly the body becomes lighter and he gives certain techniques. Whatever you choose must be comfortable for you. Do not do the same type of practice for every day. Sthiram, Sukham, Asanam. Whatever asana you have chosen, it should give you the quality of sthira means stability. Sukham means it should make you happy. Oh, I enjoy doing what I do. That's why in our tradition, when people are grown up, we will always teach them individual practices. With young children, we have 3 types of asana practice. The first level of practice is called Sushtikrama. At the age of young age, approximately 10 to 25 years, if they do not have any illness, they are taught perfect posture. Srishti means perfect posture. And next level is called Rakshana. That is, then they have grown up, certain practices are devised in such a way they do not become sick again. That is what's called Rakshana, protection. At the grown up age, they cannot do all the practices. So, certain asanas are devised in such a way they do not get illness. This is what's called Rakshana. However, we human beings are not perfect. That is what's called illness. So when some people have illness, that is what's called sickness. So according to the sickness, some certain asanas are devised on an individual basis so that their illnesses are reduced. It could be many practices. That's why every time when people become sick, we examine each person, we look at the person, and we do certain observation, and then we put them on certain diet, we put them on certain breathing practices. If they are open to meditation, we will teach them some meditative practices so that they do come out of sickness, including whatever is required. This is what's called Chikitsa. So these are the 3 classifications of asana, sadhana. It also includes pranayama, asana and pranayama. And then once they have done asana, pranayama is also taught. Pranayama is a very important aspect of pranayama. It is something we should not discard. So what is done is, through proper practice of pranayama, certain cloudness gets removed. It's almost like sometimes our mind is a bit dull. Sometimes our mind is dull. So certain pranayama are devised. Looking at that person, certain pranayama are devised based on whatever they like. Through regular practice of pranayama, little by little, their impurities gets reduced. It's almost like the cloud disappears. There is more clarity. This is one of the important aspects of pranayama. Pranayama is regulation of breath. There is a relationship between mind and breath. That's what they say. If the breath is agitated, the mind gets agitated. If the mind is agitated, the breath gets agitated. Through certain regulation of breathing, mind becomes less agitated. This is one of the techniques of using the regular breathing exercises. When they do it slowly, the mind becomes less agitated. Chale vate chala chittam. That's why breathing is a very important practice of mental discipline. It is the breathing is for all practices. That's why in certain tradition, what is done always, when a person wants to do meditation, they will teach them some breathing practices. Like a breathing is for breathing. So certain breathing practices are taught. People are very busy, and then slowly certain breathing practices are taught. And depending upon what they like, for example, some people say, I like sun, so instead of sun, people will suggest, when you inhale, meditate on the sun. When you hold, meditate on the sun. When you exhale, meditate on the sun. This is what's called universal sun. Sun is the most universal aspect of our human beings. As you all of you know, if sun was not there, we would not be here. As sun was there, sun produced 9 planets. Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, etc. So, this is the acknowledgement of sun. Without sun, we would not be here. It is proved in the astronomy. And sun is to be acknowledged. Thank sun. Thank you very much. That's why the very famous Gayatri chanting. Savitum Vareniyam. Sun, I praise you. Always I praise you. Bhargo Devasya. You know why I praise you? You are such a powerful person. You will remove all my blemishes. All blemishes will be burnt. Bharga means already some blemishes were there. By looking at the sun, all the blemishes disappear. Dhimahi, I want to meditate on you. Please permit me to meditate. By meditating on you, Dhimahi means we will meditate. By meditating, what will happen to us? Thiyo yo nama. You who by meditating, we will have our clarity. Suddenly, clarity opens up. That's what we want to meditate on. This is, if people believe in sun, we will introduce sun meditation. Of course, we will never insist on that. Whatever they like, they teach. But in reality, most of the people are open to the idea of sun. It has been my personal experiences. People don't believe in God. People don't believe in Jesus Christ. People don't believe in Shiva. However, people are very open to sun. Because imagine, even if you are in France, if it is winter, it is so cold, you will get so depressed. You are all waiting for the sun to appear. When the sun appears, you are so happy. Because they always go and take sun bath, and they also think they will get vitamin D. So, this is the most universal aspect of sun. The sun is always there. He is so kind. He is such a beneficial, great giver. However, we must be very careful about exposure to sun. If some people are too much exposed to sun, they could have some harm. Within limits, sun exposure is in order. So this is pranayama, or if you like the sun, as you practice the sun, something positive will definitely happen to you. Then the mind becomes quiet. Now you are fit for meditation. This is what is suggested as very important requirement of yoga. And whatever people believe in it, we have to regard it. I want to re-emphasize, always, every time we meet people, we will interact with them and then decide whatever they like. In Jewish tradition, for example, they like shalom. So when people like Jewish tradition, we will always introduce Shalom. They are more open today. So we should never insist on that. Whatever they like, even if the Muslims are also very believing in Muslims, they will say Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, whatever they like. In Christian tradition, if they are open to that idea also, Señor Jesus, I love you. This is what religion is. Whatever they believe in that, we should respect it. This is a must. That's why on individual practices, there is no one solution in yoga practice. There is always an individual solution according to the person. We have many examples where by providing whatever they like, wonders have happened. It is a miracle of healing. And one thing, healing is done. People are open to that idea, and this is the advantage of yoga sadhana. Remove the obstacles, get rid of the illness, and then you are ready for meditation. However, one more advantage of yoga sadhana is sometimes meditative practices are used to eliminate illness. We have some examples. Some people had some illness, nothing could be cured, and then what they did was they believed in some higher being, and something was stopping them. And when they did it, they came out of their illness. That's why certain meditative practices are the solutions for getting rid of illness. This is one of the advantages. Yoga sadhana, as they always say, is based on the following situation which I want to give. When person is unwell, he is not fit for yoga sadhana. Therefore, we have to reduce the wellness and sickness. What I mean is, we have to reduce the sickness so that they become well. That's it. However, when people have sick, we have to use certain spiritual practices so that through that practices they will come out of this sickness. This is what, because many solutions are impossible, and so as a last resort, some higher beings will come. We have many examples of illness has been eliminated through certain spiritual practices. This is the purpose of yoga sadhana. At the same time, what I want you to reflect on is the purpose of yoga is not to be selfish. You should not always be looking for a healthy life. At the same time, you should also pursue some higher level. This is the most important thing, or you must pursue a higher level. When you pursue a higher level, something good will happen to you. This is what is called meditation. So through meditation, if you pursue certain practices, certain health consideration happens, you are no more selfish, and through certain meditation, you will acquire certain positive qualities. That's what Patanjali says. Whenever you have done your practices, aim at certain auspicious qualities so that you will get the auspicious qualities. What is called Shubha Ashraya. Oh, I like some higher being. I want to meditate on the higher being. I will meditate on the higher being. So that's what people do, called Shubha Ashraya. And at the same level, there is another aspect of extraordinary power. Patanjali talks about when you have prepared asana, when you have prepared for pranayama, you are fit for meditation. With meditation, you can choose what you want. In the third chapter, Patanjali tempts you with all offering. Whatever you meditate, you will get all qualities. If you want to understand your habits, if you meditate on your habits, you will learn everything about what was the past, what is the future, what is the present. Samskara sakshat karanat urvajati jnanam. Whatever you want to learn, you can learn. But you cannot be a casual meditation. Every day you have to meditate on your habits. The more and more you meditate on the habits regularly, the more and more you will learn something what happened to me, how I got into my trouble. This is what is called samyama. Meditation done continuously is called samyama. Not a casual, it is a continuous process. So, the other aspect is very examples are given. Lastly, what Patanjali says also is introducing a concept called spiritual transformation. What he says is, if you have a heart and heart connection, you will have a spiritual transformation. This is what is emphasized on spiritual transformation. Once we have a heart-to-heart connection, we are able to create anything. Nirmana, Chittani, Asmita, Matra. When you have heart-to-heart connection, something wonderful will happen to you. You are able to recreate everything in life. It's almost like a new life, new creation, new evolution, new development. This is what he talks about Nirmana. Ultimately, what he talks about to us is, you have to aspire for freedom, what's called kaivalya. You have to work in the direction of kaivalya. If you have cleared all your debts, you have nothing is left over, then something will happen to you where you become totally a liberated person. With such liberated person, you are completely independent. You have no dependency. You are totally a free person. Nothing will stop you from doing. This is what called Kaivalya. It is total confidence. There is no anxiety. There is no fear. It is almost like 100% confidence. There is no fear. There is no insecurity. This is what is the aim of. That's what Patanjali says. Purushartha shunyanam gunanam prasava kaivalyam swarupa pratishtava chitishaktiriti. This is what's called the perceiver is by itself. Perceiver is not at all independent. He is not at all independent. He is totally independent. 100% independent. He is, whatever he wants to see, he will see with total clarity, without any impurities. There are no impurities. His perception is 100% accurate. That's why there is no anxiety, there is total confidence. This is the message of what is called Yoga Sadhana. I will also request you to do a small chanting to end with this beautiful encounter. I will recite for you little by little. I request you to repeat and see what happens. Okay? I recite and you please repeat. Atha yoga anu shasanam atha yoga anu shasanam atha yoga स्वरूपे अवस्थानम् तदा द्रष्टुः स्वरूपे अवस्थानम् वृत्ति इतरत्र वृत्ति आरोप्यम् इतरत्र वृत्ति सारोप्यम् इतरत्र इतरत्र वृत्तिसारूप्यम् इतरत्र वृत्तिसारूप्यम् इतरत्र last sutra Purushartha Shunyanam Gunanam Prati Prasava Kaivalyam Swarupa One more thing before I conclude is what Patanjali emphasizes is you must have faith. If you don't have faith, it's a waste of time. The Sanskrit word for faith is called Shraddha. I will end by reciting Shraddha Sutra for you. Shraddhaya Gnisamityate Shraddhaya Vindate Havi Shraddham Bhavasya Mundani Vachasare Dayomasi Priyadvashadhe Dadataha Priyadvashadhe Didasataha Priyam Bhojeshu Yajvaso Idam Mahudidam Kruthi Yatha Deva Asureshu Shraddha Mukreshu Chakrire Evam Bhojeshu Yajvaso Asmakam Kruthi Shraddham Devaya Jamana Vayanga Upasate Shraddham Hridaya Bhutya Shraddhaya Bhuyate Havi Shraddham Pradhanhavamahe Shraddham Madhyandinam Pari Shraddham Surya श्रद्धा कामस्य मातरम् अविशावर्धयामि. Thank you.
I recognize the console one. There was a block board, another block board that was like.
கேஸ் முட்டை தனியாக எடுத்து வச்சுட்டு
ஓகே
யோகான்னு போட்டு வச்சு கேஸ் இருக்குல்ல